Can I substitute self-raising flour for plain or all-purpose flour?
Hello, baking enthusiasts. Today, we're tackling an important question that could revolutionize your baking routine. Can I substitute self-raising flour for plain or all-purpose flour? It's not uncommon to find yourself out of a particular type of flour in the middle of a baking adventure. Understanding how you can substitute one for the other can save your recipe and your day.
What's the difference?
Let's start by understanding the core difference between self-raising and all-purpose flour. Self-raising flour is essentially flour that has a leavening agent, usually baking powder, and sometimes a bit of salt added to it. All-purpose flour, on the other hand, is just that, flour, with no added ingredients.
Can you substitute?
So, can you substitute one for the other? The simple answer is, yes, you can, but with some considerations. When substituting self-raising flour for all-purpose, you'll need to adjust the other ingredients in your recipe to ensure you maintain the right balance. Specifically, you'll have to reduce or omit the amount of baking powder and salt in the recipe to account for what's already included in the self-raising flour.
How to substitute?
The common rule of thumb when substituting is for every cup of all-purpose flour your recipe calls for, you can use a cup of self-raising flour. However, for every cup of self-raising flour used, remove 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder and a quarter teaspoon of salt from the recipe. Remember, this substitution mainly works well in recipes where the leavening agent is baking powder. If the recipe requires other leavening agents like yeast or baking soda, it's better to stick with all-purpose flour. So, there you have it. Yes, you can substitute self-raising flour for all-purpose flour, with some caveats. It's always about understanding your ingredients and balancing your recipe. Happy baking, and I hope this has cleared up your flour substitution queries. Remember, while substitution can be a great savior in a pinch, for the best and most consistent results, it's always advisable to use the type of flour your recipe calls for. Stay tuned for more baking tips and tricks. Until then, keep baking and creating deliciousness.